Welcome to Deadly Dames. So, I was looking at the top 10 videos that we've done and I realised it's actually been a while since I did a top 10 directors video. So I decided, now I'm on my own for this video because my sister's working and Claire is visiting family. So, I'm doing my top 10 Dario Argento movies and hopefully they agree with me in which order these go in. So, the way that if you've ever seen a Dario Argento movie, and I'm pretty sure you will have, otherwise because most horror fans love Dario Argento, so these movies, if you try to explain them, it doesn't make the movie sound as good as it actually is. So I'm not going to go into great detail explaining what the movie's about, but what I will do is I'm going to do from 10 till 1, and why I ranked them my favourite, and why they're in that position. I will go over like a bit about why that movie's there. Plus, I don't really want to spoil these movies for anyone. You want to go and watch them, you want to experience them yourself. So, starting off at number 10 is part of the Animal trilogy of Dario Argento. So, Bird with the Crystal, and I always say this wrong, it's either plumage or plumage, so I'm sure you can tell me if I've got that wrong. I would love to get the Blu-ray edition of this, excuse me. Sorry, I'm still fighting this stupid tickly cough that just will not go away. But yeah, I would love to have got the slipcase Blu-ray edition of this, but I never did at the time, and now it sells for a ridiculous price. So maybe one day Arrow Video will release a Blu-ray, like a new Blu-ray release of it. I mean, they have done that with Phenomena and Inferno and things like that, so you never know, maybe this one will come out as well. So the idea behind this storyline is that there's an American writer in Rome, and he witnesses a murder in an art gallery. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise the camera was up that high. He witnesses an art murder in a gallery, and then he gets pulled into an investigation. So a big trend with Dario Argento movies and Italian giallo in general is that they always tend to be about someone, most of the time it's an American actually, but someone outsider getting pulled into a murder mystery, and a lot of the time it's actually in a foreign country that this happens. So the reason why I like this movie so much is because it took me so bloody long to find it. So when I discovered that I really, really liked Dario Argento, at the time, there wasn't a company like Arrow Video. There wasn't a company like Shameless that released these movies. You kind of had to go find them, and it was all crap editions that you got, rubbish editions. And I actually bought this DVD, and I was on a bus, and I travelled to, I stayed in quite a small town, and, excuse me, I travelled to another small town just outside, because there was a wee shop at the time that sort of specialised in collecting movies that I loved. And I travelled out there, which wasn't cheap, bought it, and left it on the bloody bus. And could I find this movie again? No, I could not. But it's a great movie, a great example of giallo done right, and I would recommend it if you're a giallo fan or a Dario Argento fan, that this is a movie that you get and watch. Excuse me again. Position 9. The Stendhal Syndrome. So, and again, might have said that wrong, but this isn't everybody's favourite Dario Argento movie, and by all means it is a crazy idea. So the idea about it, it's a giallo again, is that Asia Argento, with her boobs, you can tell this is Rick Melton straight away, but Asia Argento suffers from a condition called the Stendhal Syndrome. I'm so sorry, excuse me. Where if she looks at paintings for too long, she feels like she becomes one with the painting. So as well as having this sort of medical condition that she's got, she's also pulled into she's a police officer, and she's also pulled into like chasing down a murder, and she soon becomes a victim. There's a lot of good ideas in this. I mean, the whole Stendhal becoming part of the painting is a bit strange, but let's face it, a lot of Dario Argento's movies have some strange things on it, killer children and killer monkeys and stuff like that. I just enjoy this film. I don't think it's the worst movie that he's ever done. There's certainly worse. I mean, if you've ever seen Dario Argento's Dracula, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, position 8, Cat o' Nine Tails. So this is the other movie that took me years to find. Again, I wish I bought the slipcase Blu-ray edition when it came out. Stupidly didn't, and now it goes for ridiculous amounts of money. I'm so sorry. So this one here is about a journalist who overhears basically blackmail, and he is pulled into a murder mystery again. So it is part of the Animal trilogy, obviously Cat o' Nine Tails. The third part that goes with this is actually Four Flies on Grey Velvet, which you can get from Shameless. My personal opinion, that's the weakest of the animal trilogies, and that's the reason why it's not on this list. It's just a really good example again of giallo done right. And then we've got Terror at the Opera. So again, it is giallo. I don't have to keep saying that for Dario Argento, but it is giallo. There's a particular scene in this movie that creeps the life out of me, and it is a scene that's on the cover. I've got a great big poster of this as well, with the needles taped under the eyes so she can't blink. That it's called Terror at the Opera because it's all set around about a murder mystery in an opera house. It's just a really enjoyable movie, and again, I know it's not everybody's favourite Dario Argento film. There's just something about it for me. To me, it's kind of like a modernised Phantom of the Opera, and I know he did Phantom of the Opera as well, and it's not particularly good. So if you're going to watch any of his opera movies, watch this one over Phantom. But yes, so we're on to, where are we? 5. Now, I'm probably going to raise some eyebrows with this one because I know not an awful lot of people love this one. I do, and it's Trauma. Now, the soundtrack's not perfect, the storyline's not perfect, but for whatever reason, I just love Trauma. And again, it's Dario Argento, and he works a lot with his daughter, which is kind of creepy because Stendhal Syndrome, for example, there's a rape scene in that, and like she's pretty much naked. Can you imagine your dad directing you in a scene like that? It's just, I mean, you couldn't imagine being directing a scene like that anyway, but your father standing there directing you like that, I think that's kind of creepy. But this movie here's Dario Argento's an anorexic. She escapes from a psyche ward. Her mum's an absolute nutter. There's a killer on the loose, and it's all interlinked. Again, it is a giallo because it's all murder mystery. There's scenes in this like where people's heads come off and they're still screaming and stuff, like Brad Dourif's in this. But I think Piper Laurie steals the show in this movie, and it's funny because I repeat lines out of this movie all the time because it's one of the Dario Argento movies that I grew up loving. I watched this one when I was relatively young, and I just really, really enjoyed it. This is the one with the, without giving too much away, I think this is the one that's got the killer child in it. Brilliant movie, in my opinion. I just really enjoy it. I love the Piper Laurie scene where she's just going, Nicholas, 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 around in circles. But yeah, really, really good movie. I wish that there was a better edition of it because there isn't a Blu-ray in the UK. There's just a DVD. And to my knowledge, I think this is the only Dario Argento movie that no other companies like remastered and released. Because like Shameless has done quite a few of them. Shameless has done Four Flies on Grey Velvet, and Suspiria is like a parent company of that. And Arrow's pretty much released all of them. I don't think anybody else has picked up Dario Argento ones. If they have, obviously you can let me know, but Trauma's not been one of them. You can really only get it on this DVD, and I've got it as, like, even when you get Dario Argento box sets, Trauma's always the one that's missing. So I know that Dario Argento wasn't a fan of this because he didn't really enjoy the experience of making a movie in America. He went straight back to Italy to do a movie after that. This cough's driving me mad, so I'm really, really sorry. So, next up is Tenebrae. So, most Dario Argento fans have probably seen this one. It's about a writer. Again, you see a theme here. And it's a giallo, murder mystery. I love the murder mysteries. They're just a lot of fun. And this one's got an absolutely great twist at the end. So do you know something? I'm not going to say too much because I really don't want to give away the twist. If you haven't seen Tenebrae, go get yourself a copy of it. And then this one here, next, which 4th? Deep Red. So I'm actually listening to the Deep Red soundtrack in the background as well. But this one's it's quite similar to like Rear Window and Fright Night in a way actually. It's a guy witnesses something through a window that he didn't expect to witness. He thinks it's a murder, and then he becomes pulled into the mystery of solving this murder. And you know something, that obviously you can see a theme rolling through this, and it's a theme that goes through a lot of giallo movies, is a stranger being pulled into solving a mystery, solving a murder. I love the soundtrack to Deep Red. I love the storyline to Deep Red. I know a lot of people will be like, why'd you put Deep Red above Tenebrae? But I just love the movie Deep Red. Again, it was one of the films that I found extremely difficult to get hold of. I actually ended up buying Cat o' Nine Tails, Budsway, A Crystal Plumage and Deep Red all at the one time. Pure binge watched them because they were just so good. Number 3 is Inferno. Now I know my sister will disagree with me in the order that this one and the next one are. I really do love Inferno, and obviously the Inferno and Suspiria and Mother of Tears are the Three Mothers movies. And I love those witch stories. Obviously we spoke about them in our witch video. And I love Inferno. I love the underwater scene. I think it's amazing. Mother of Tears, let's not talk about that one, because let's face it, she killed the witch by taking off her t-shirt. I think like the scene with the rats and everything in this movie is just, it is a perfect movie. The cinematography, everything about it is just amazing. And it flows on perfectly to position 2, which is Suspiria. The reason why I put Suspiria above Inferno is just because it was the first one. It came out of nowhere. The colours used in this movie are phenomenal. You've got a storyline like nothing else that came before it at the time. Well, to me, the Suspiria and Inferno, they do follow the same sort of structure as a giallo, but obviously they're not a giallos. They're more supernatural. They're more... So there are murder mysteries in it. I mean, the scene in this with the head coming through the stained glass, it's amazing. Barbed wire death in them as well. Amazing. But to me, I think this was Dario Argento at everything running best. It's not my favourite movie, because obviously I've still got that one to come, and I'll tell you why that's my favourite movie, but everything going for him was when he did Suspiria. The reason why Phenomena is my favourite is because it's got Jennifer Connelly in it, and she's very young in it, but she's great in it. It's got Donald Pleasance in it, and the man's just a legend. I love the idea of a girl who, it's a bit like Stendhal syndrome, you know, she's got like something different about her in this, and she can speak to insects. I love the idea of that. I love the idea of taking a kind of supernatural idea, you know, she can speak to insects and control them, and mixing it with the giallo, because obviously there's people being murdered at the school that she's going to, and she gets pulled into sort of sorting it because the insects that she speaks to are attracted to dead bodies, so she ends up being pulled into sort of helping the mystery of these girls that are getting killed. The scenes in this I absolutely love. Again, I'm going to try and not ruin too much about the movie, but it's mental that there's a monkey in it. It's just crazy that the monkey saves the day, but I still really enjoy it. The scene in the boat where the water's on fire, I mean, you can see influences of that and things like Freddy vs Jason, for example, boat, fire. But I love that scene. Obviously the pit of maggots and goo and yuck. There's just something magical to me about Inferno. It was the first, if that and Trauma, I think, were the first Dario Argento movies that I've seen. No, it would have been Phenomena. No, it would have been that one, because I remember I had the old, I think they were called Terror. I've got them upstairs as well, a couple of them. Terror VHS. They actually was called Creepers instead of Phenomena, and it had the monkey on the front with the switchblade. But yeah, so hopefully you liked my top 10 Dario Argento movies, and remember, it's just my opinion, so if there's any Dario Argento movies out there that I've missed, or perhaps you would put one above Phenomena, then obviously you can leave some comments below, and I love talking about films, I love debating about them, and I'll get back to you. And as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and take care.